Kieron, 4-1 win here. What are your thoughts on the performance?
Yeah, I spoke to you yesterday. I told you what we were working on, more crosses on the box. Well documented, our strikers hadn't scored. We dominated possession, but as I said yesterday, it was possession without a purpose. I thought there was a real purpose for us today. Fair play to Newport. They tried to come here and have a go. We knew their vulnerabilities. If we can win the ball up high with them trying to pass out, I thought we could score, and we should have probably scored. Dobbs goes round the keeper. Dixon drags a shot. But the first goal epitomised us, I thought, and what we've actually worked on. Mandeville cross, Grigg in his feeding ground. He likes to feed in them areas, and a great goal. And yeah, I thought it was a real dominant performance. Created loads of chances, and hopefully that will give us the start we need to really kick on now.
You said you wanted more goals. You've got 4, and 4 really well taken ones as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Again, when they score a goal, you're thinking, oh no, the chance is going to come back to haunt us. But our third goal was a great goal, and that's why when the gaffer talks about depth in squad, I think last season our subs, we probably scored more substitute goals than the whole of any team in the English pyramid. And then Tom Naylor, great pass into Dobbs, I think it was. Dobbs is probably the one thing that we've been moaning about Dobbs, is getting his assists, and that's 2 assists now. So he's learning. It took him 3 years to learn that you can actually pass the ball, but great pass. And then Ronan showed his quality again. And we're really pleased with the 4th goal as well, because I think Dill will be the first to admit he's been lacking confidence. We haven't really seen the Dylan Marcandy of last season. But again, on the training pitch, he's looked brilliant this week. I mean, absolutely brilliant. And he capped off a great goal where once he gets a player in the box 1v1, he's devastating, and that capped off a fantastic display for us.
How impressive was it from your side? You know, when they scored, I think it was around 10 minutes left of the game, and your team have just gone on, not got a 3rd, but got a 4th as well, to really just settle the game. Yeah,
again, I think there's a big thing in football now. It's called the starters and finishers, and we always say, who's the most important? Is it the starters or the finishers? And when you've got especially the flair players, when you've got the depth that we have, and like I said, we've got Dylan Duffy probably a couple of weeks to come back and add to that as well. James Berry didn't even get on the pitch today, so it goes to show that for us to be misfiring a bit this season with that firepower, it was something we had to get right, and I think that was the first great step on getting back on the trail of doing well, and what we want is a promotion.
We also spoke about, like we just mentioned, Will Grigg and Lee Bonus not scoring. Will Grigg's got his first goal for the season. Just massive for you number 9 to do that, isn't it? Get off the mark.
Yeah, we never doubted Will Grigg, and the same with Lee Bonus. I said to Lee Bonus, and I know he didn't get a goal today, but we said to Lee Bonus, especially against Harrogate and I think Bristol Rovers, he could have had a hat-trick in both them games. So we were saying to him that you should really start worrying when you're not getting chances. And then again, to spin off on that, with Griggy and Lee, over the last few weeks, they haven't been really getting chances. So we were worrying for them. We studied the tapes. Me and Robbo have actually been joining in training, which has been interesting. We've got our boots on. Honestly, it's really fascinating that I joined in. Ronan Darcy took up a knock against Bromley before we were practicing before Bromley, and he was the number 10, and he was going to get treatment for 5 minutes. So I actually took the bib and went in as the number 10, and just by 5 minutes of me joining in training, I noticed that our 3 flair players, like we like to call, they always play underneath the game. They never really penetrate. So probably you didn't see it so much against Bromley because you're watching the game as a whole, but actually watching our game against Bromley, Dobbs had penetrated more than he ever had. Darcy was penetrating, and Mandy. So it makes it a double threat, if you know what I mean, because if teams are watching us and they know Dobbs likes to be in his pocket and Mandy likes to be in his pocket, and it's fascinating that I've watched all the training sessions from outside, but actually joining in, and I'm doing Dobbs' running non-stop, and I'm like, any danger of you actually doing a run? It kind of, in the game today, if you look at our flair players running, and you'll probably notice from my Dobbs is running that way a lot more rather than under the game, and it's very hard to mark, and we're reaping the rewards from it.
Just a thought on Will Dixon's performance, his first goal for the club, and I just thought he just ran all the time, didn't he?
I think it probably would have been a surprise to many that Will Dixon was starting. And I just said upstairs to Tooley there, I just said that if you'd have seen Will Dixon in training for the last 2 weeks, he had to play. He's been that great. He scored loads of goals. He's been so bright. When he came in, we said that he was probably third choice, number 9, but behind Griggy and Lee Bonus. And he's now forced his way into a team. He can play any of the flair positions. He can play as a 10. We think he can play in Dobbs' little slot on the left 10, Mandy's and Dylan's slot. He's a real good player. You don't be in Man City's under 21s without having a bit about you. Man City, we're talking about Man City Academy where they pay £1 million for players, and Lee Dixon's had the great coach and the great ground, and where he can handle the ball, he can run, he can finish, and his goal was like the pace to carry it for the whole 90 yards, and then a bit of a Darcy little chop and see you later to defender, and a great slot. And fair play to him, because it just goes to show if you perform in training, you will get picked.
Finally, Kieron, just how good is it to get back to winning ways?
Yeah, hopefully you'll say now we're unbeaten in 3 instead of we haven't won in 5 now, so we're obviously pleased about that. We're not going to get carried away. We'll analyse the game, and there's still things we can do better. But like you said, it's nice to get up and running. I don't know where we are in the league, but hopefully it's pushed us up a couple of positions, and down to Colchester, and hopefully continue with another win.